back is when I do presentations and things. I get really fixated on.
Hey, welcome everybody who is watching on YouTube to this edition of the Trauma Informed Care Task Force. We are just about to get started. This is our first meeting in person in ever. So we're very excited. And we will be on soon. Hate to see you.
I guess that one press conference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know, right? I feel like I recognize your face.
We're going to go ahead and get started, but I'm going to turn eyes more to me than me. There's a camera there because this is being streamed out, which might make it so he doesn't know what it is. But we're so excited to have it. But I'm not going to be able to see tonight. I'm going to go home and my husband guys. No, I just can't see people.
All right. Yeah. So welcome back, everybody. It is great to not see y'all in boxes, but to see y'all in real life. This is beautiful. For those that have not been before, welcome to Baltimore City Hall. We are thrilled to have you here. This is your building. Today is, I don't even know what today is. Today is Thursday, April 21st. We are live on YouTube for this edition of the Trauma Informed Care Task Force. I am really thrilled to be back with everybody. Don't expect tacos every time. We'll try, but but did want to start a couple of things before we jump into work groups. First off, I know that there were some positive announcements that some folks wanted to make. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kyla, and then anyone else who wants to jump in on anything positive going on either in your life or in someone else's life. Let's go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm Kyla, also known as Dr. K. Come see me in person. This is what my whole thing looks like. Big announcement is actually for Ryan. Congratulations, you are now a staff member at the University of Maryland. Yeah. Initial dollar, I got the email about 20 minutes ago.
That's great. Mazel tov. That's exciting. All right, fantastic. Anybody else have a announcement they want to make for the go to the group? This one might have been last time, but I don't think it was. Fariha was on a great panel. I don't know if folks got a chance to see it with the State Superintendent of Education. It was awesome. Education leaders from all across the state. So congrats to Fariha. I don't know if you want to say a word or two about the panel, but.
Of course you said that right as it was awesome. I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. We talked about special education. And I got to hear from a lot of parents and students with disabilities and educators. And I think it's a great vision that we have set out. And I know currently MSDE is also collecting strategic feedback to develop their plan. So I can share the link out and pass it on to your network. It would be really great to have a plan by the people. Thank you.
Awesome.
Also, this past Saturday, I was honored to go ahead and march with We Are Us. The importance of it is Freddie Gray passing was, it commemorated that. So we had great people come down from New Jersey, North Carolina, all around just to go ahead and march with us and lend that and go and give community resource out to the community. Even do that, one of the men was suffering from out for on drugs, and we were able to pick them up and go and get them services. So it was really big. It's on saying it was beautiful. It'll warm your heart, touch your heart.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. Delegate Regina Boyce finished session. Props to her. Tell us at least your favorite bill.
Oh, you mean the ones that died? Favorite bill, I had a couple of them, but the ones that didn't make it, my favorite was, in urban ag bill that would provide grants to allow, urban ag folks to have water access. And so that means their funds can go to, buying a water meter, if you need a water meter, if it's a water truck, if irrigation, whatever it is, it's, secure money for the next 4 years, $2 million. So I'm excited about that because it is one of the barriers to urban agriculture is water. And so I'm happy that that went through. So I'm excited about that, but I'm most excited about more of the bigger legislation we did, which is, of course, legalizing cannabis. It'll be on referendum this fall. And once it hopefully goes through, we have another constituency legislation that will start with automatic expungement of all, and all those who are in jail because of possession or use. Yeah, second part, we looked at the first part, like, make sure we see a referendum, and just know that it is still complex, but as we go, the second part is like, to change that there are people who still have issues about, we talk about it here, owner, and even owner still can be a barrier, for folks that are going to be in prison for, ridiculous reasons. So, just make sure you participate, and at least check the box, say yes, and then we can start moving toward, the real, justice reform.
Awesome. And also in line with trauma informed, don't forget about paid family leave, paid family leave
Sorry about that.
after many, many, many years, right? Got it done.
Finally.
That's huge. That's huge. One more for me, for folks that have not been, if you get a chance, every Tuesday, our friend Donna Bruce over here is at the Penn North Library doing the amazing peer recovery work in the library. They have already engaged with hundreds of people. And to see the transformation in that space has been beautiful, because I'll tell you, and I think Donna would agree, when we started this up, folks were pretty skeptical about it. And some of the staff, I think, was concerned about what it could bring and all the rest. But you go there now and the climate has completely changed. And community is much more welcome in the library. Staff loves it. Donna is not only doing the peer recovery work in the library, but going out and doing community outreach. It's awesome to see. So definitely give her a round of applause. All right, anybody else before we keep it moving? Once. All right. So one thing I did want to say before we jump into work groups was, we know that we are headed toward the summer, and the summer in Baltimore can be a particularly challenging time, and particularly this year, where we see a rise in violent crime throughout not just Baltimore, but every American city, where we see a rise in suicide attempts, as well as attempts that were carried through, where we see a rise in intimate partner violence and child abuse. I would argue that the next phase of this pandemic is going to be a full-on mental health crisis, which I think that we're already seeing play out in so many different ways, in community, in our streets, just people's inability to de-escalate when you get frustrated, and then just the incredible access folks have to guns in our city. And so one thing that we've been thinking about doing as Healing City is we've put together with some folks that Dr. Phil knows from Be More Connected, a big resource guide with all kinds of mental health services, trauma-informed programs, trainings, a whole calendar of things happening. And what I want to do is really fill that thing out so that families can have access and then launch it publicly. So on May 21st at 11 a.m., would love for everybody to join as we launch what I hope to be a summer of healing with a big resource guide, big group of organizations from Pro Bono Counseling Project to Roberta's House to many of the ones that are represented here in this room, because I think it's going to have to be an all-in effort. It's going to be everybody working together from their space. And so I would encourage folks as we build this out on the Healing City website, if you just Google Healing City and click on the resources tab, if there are organizations, either your own or others, that we're missing, let us know. We'll reach out to the leadership over there, and we want to make sure they're on the website. Because I think that once it starts to get hot, once schools are out, we got to make sure we are doing everything we possibly can for our young people, for our families, for our older adults, just to make sure that this summer is a summer of healing instead of a summer of chaos and hurt. So I'll just say May 21st, 11 a.m., location TBD, but would love to have the whole task force out there. And please, please, please take a look at the website. Just Google Healing City, check out the resource link. Mount Washington Hospital, whatever resource we need, make sure it gets on there.
Who should we send the resources? Who should we send our list of resources to?
To Anne.
And I'll send all of this via email after the meeting, so you can just reply.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll all get that.
So picking up, I had class and I couldn't cancel my class, so this is next to the last one. But part of the reason why each summer we have increases in stress and is one, many of our children actually getting supported in the schools.
Yeah.
They have positive relationships with people in the schools. They have mental health services in the schools. They have people like Coop, and other people around. And the structural problem, though, is that many of those are funded on 9-month contracts. Because traditionally, schools ran from September through middle of June. And so all the funding and things were scheduled that way. And so even though we then have summer times, if we have a whole bunch of money going through the Family League, other things for out-of-school summer programs, they're totally separate strategies. And so one of the things that we've been talking about in our youth committee, but because we have people in organizations that are not youth, but are involved in those organizations, just want to bring it up here, is there'll be a meeting on Monday with city schools, other people from the mayor's office, to see, can we reduce that structural problem, just in itself, of people who we know are doing good services that have to lay off their people. Some of them then hire them back with other funding streams because it's a different funding stream. They get something for the summer thing. So it's not, but that becomes a whole issue of doing those things. And we have, again, it's hard enough for people who need services to get them. For us to lose most of our services for kids during 3 months. So there's a lot of agreement. We've got to try to do something. It's not, we think something can get done. It's not going to get fixed perfectly. But I think, again, if people have suggestions about it, both people that are working in these things and experience it, and I know because I've talked to several people that have experienced it, as well as other kind of things that potentially we can do that, or we can use, again, to have the funding not totally go to these folks, but when we know that we have high need kids that are getting services, can we prioritize the summer money going to them? And as opposed to doing it project by project, which is how the RFPs currently are, let's see if we can get them targeted to those providers, those organizations that have those services that have been doing positive things. And the same thing holds at the end of the year. A lot of times, and you that work in schools know, you know, the kids will come in and it'll be November before the teacher, you know, they're not doing so good, but it's a new teacher and they don't quite know what's going on. And it may take them until November until they get a referral back to a mental health service because they weren't served over the summer. And so again, I think we have, again, these are structural things. I think, again, there's quality of services and programs, but we got some real, and I think that, again, one of the things partially because of the, this task force are getting people to think about these kind of things differently. So, both for the Monday meeting, which is meant, it's a community meeting, people that are providing services in city schools are the people, but also, hopefully there'll be a follow-up with some of the funders and family. Again, they don't come up with the money, but they distribute some of the money. There's some other groups that distribute a number of amounts. We've talked to some of the foundations that also fund some of these things. I said that would be great if we had a mechanism. And I think this is the very kind of thing that the task force is again trying to think through. How do we deal with some of these structural things and make them better? So hopefully, we will be making some progress there. Again, I don't, nobody's claiming we're going to fix it, but if we could have some of the kids that are doing well now, and of course they're getting good sports,
Right.
and to have people that they're confident with, and not to see these people for 3 months when the people want jobs, and they're not happy with not being able to work for the 3 months, and a lot of them again don't come back the next year because they've had to get another job because they got to feed their families. So again, we're working on this in the same way. And I just raised this because some people work in organizations, they're not on the youth committee, but they definitely know that they have people in their organizations that are doing these things. And I think the more we can come together and again, use this as a positive example of how, coming together with both providers and consumers and people themselves and the youth embrace this in our groups.
Then we do not want to re-traumatize the young people at all. Right. So like to have it said, people who's working with these young people to have them well trained. Right. We could definitely use summer months to go and make sure they have mindfulness, social emotional learning, and restore the practice training. So like this would be an awesome experience for all of us to go ahead and get together and train our young people the way they train our staff members to work with our young people where they deserve.
Do you have anybody able to do that training for you, or are you
Well,
kind of thinking about that?
I am a restorative practice trainer. Also crisis prevention intervention. So I can go ahead and do a lot of them for real. So if for say schools that we got to go to the school board and have the paraprofessionals or whoever said great individuals work with the young people, I can definitely do those trainings. We also need mental health first aid, youth instructor as well, because we have a lot of young people in the school systems who are experiencing anxieties and aggression and all types of things. So we have the right people at the table to go ahead and minister the trainings. So all these great individuals already work with the young people. Now they actually train to go ahead and work with the young people. Oh man, we're doing something great for all
So
them.
let's connect. So I'm with the Center for School Mental Health, and I think we could help you out a lot with a lot of those trainings.
So talk to my guy.
so-
Phil. He going
Yeah. Yes.
And also, Corey's also in the whole training group, which is working to develop a training for all of us. So, yeah, let's use all these connections and make it happen. All right, anybody else? Okay, so this is not organized chaos. I'm gonna turn it over to Ann, who is gonna tell us where we're supposed to go.
You're gonna blue flip us.
She's gonna blue us to.
So part of tonight is that we wanted groups, there are a lot of people like me in person, and so we wanted to provide time for you to be able to work in your groups in person. There are still some people in the Zoom though, so either the staff member, like you need to make sure there's a computer in your group so that if there's people online, they're able to be on as well. Most of you are here though, which I'm so grateful. We are going to have 3 groups stay on this floor. The medical focus group is going to go over into the Curran room, which is across. The training group is going to actually leave. We have a conference room for you because you all are doing a listening session with PCAP tonight. The decolonizing group, you are going to stay in here. The policy group, you get to be on the couches. And the youth group is actually, the youth is gonna be on the other side. You're gonna need to have two groups in the current room. It's a large room, so you should be able to kind of clean the corner. Clean the corner. So everyone catch where they're going. Or do I need to
Repeat it one more time.
Okay. Youth, you're in one corner of the current room. Medical, you're in the other corner of the current room. Policy, you're on the couches. Decolonizing, you're in here. And community training, we are taking you to the glass room of finance. So again, make sure there's a computer, the link is in the calendar invite. If you need to get on the Wi-Fi at City Hall, it's just.
That Colby
open
was going to
access,
that.
you don't need a password, just get on. All right. See, do you want, are we regrouping or are they working?
I would say if we could regroup at 6:55, if everybody could come back, just close it out together, it'd be great.
Sounds great. So if the training group can meet you by elevators, we can get you into the.
Yeah.
I'll read that. Come on, brother. That would just be me and you.
Yeah, I heard this left, but I don't know what room exactly, so I figured maybe just follow everyone else starts walking.
Somebody's gonna look like they know where they're going.
Right. That's all right.
You want to-
Yeah, I'm gonna bring them to.
Yeah, because I think
I'm not playing. What day? The next 2 weeks. What day? The next 2 weeks? No. At all. You tell me where I need to be. For the next 2 weeks.
Thank you so much.
Right, no, I think
It's not even a money so much. Like, you know, they're
Okay. Jasmine Pope and Jasia, she should be in the youth group. So Jasia, we will send you to the youth group and Jasmine will send you to decolonizing. Give me 1 second. Why don't I see?
How do you receive again? Their community-based right, and so I think she would be a great, okay, so I will.
Yeah, well, show them that, I kept trying to tell you, you kept talking and talking. The dog, man, my dog, I got a cold though, it's like 120 pounds. Oh, yeah, yeah, we definitely gotta do that.
All right, Mark, I gotta take you to the listening session.
Two minutes.
You know how.
Oh, no.
See everybody, yeah, I get that. See the humans, and not video boxes. I know, right? Yeah.
Yes, more importantly, really building the strong connections that we need to for each other, which was